Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Arpita De. A very warm welcome to my ecology classes. The topic for today's discussion is population growth and dynamics. This is a very important part from population ecology. So let's begin. These are the few topics which we will be discussing today. Population, factors affecting population growth and the growth rates, population pyramid or age pyramid, survivorship curves. So these are the few topics. So before we start, let's first briefly discuss what is population. A population is the collection of individuals of the same species that live together in a region. So this term population can be loosely defined as a group of individuals or a group of organisms that prefer staying together in one particular place, and they are able to mate and successfully reproduce. With this comes population density. It is expressed as the total number of individuals per unit area or volume at a given time. So we calculate population density at one particular given point of time. It is calculated by knowing the total number of individuals that are there in in a unit area at a particular point of time. Now, what is crude density? Crude density is the density per unit total space. Specific or ecological density is what then? It is the density per unit habitat space. Crude density is the number of individuals in the occurring in the total area, but specific or ecological density is very actual. It is density per unit habitat space. So it is the number of individuals which are actually occurring in a space which is fit for staying. Habitat space means an organism can stay over there. This is more of a realized concept. So next, we'll come to the factors. These are the factors that actually affect the population growth. So these factors actually decide that which population is growing faster and which is growing slower, and why. Let's start with natality or fertility. Fertility is the ability of the reproductively active individuals to produce babies. So, fertility is the capacity of an individual to produce offsprings. Birth rate is the number of babies produced per thousand individuals. It differs from the population growth rate as it is never negative, while growth rate can be negative. Obviously, population growth rate can never be negative. Population growth rate can be negative, but fertility cannot be negative. A child is being born on earth. How can that be negative? So it differs from population growth as it is never negative, while growth rate can be negative. Total fertility rate or TFR is the average number of children that would be born to a woman during her lifetime. Next, coming to mortality. Mortality is the death rate per thousand individuals. So, how many individuals are dying out of thousand individuals? So, this is mortality. Death rate has fallen in most countries. This is very obvious. Why? Because of improved personal hygiene, sanitation, and modern medicines. Modern medicines, please note the spelling error here. Modern medicines have really increased life expectancy in human individuals. Well, not only in human individuals, in animals as well. The difference between the number of births and that of deaths is called the rate of natural increase. If the birth and death rates are equal, a zero population growth would result, which is known as demographic transition. It has occurred in most developed countries. In developed countries, we see that the population is not rising very steadily. It is not at all like blooming. The death rate and the birth rate is more or less equal, which results in zero population growth. Now, apart from death rate and birth rate, there are certain points which influence the population growth. One of them is migration. Migration involves immigration as well as emigration. Migration is the movement of individuals into or out of a place or country. Thus, migration is of two types: immigration and emigration. Immigration is the movement of individuals into an area. So, when a group of individuals is coming in a particular area to settle, we call it immigration. And emigration is what? The movement of individuals out of an area. So, emigration means what? A group of individuals is going out of a particular area. This will cause a reduction in the number of existing individuals. On contrary, immigration will add on to the population. So, migration may occur within a country as well as between different countries. You can often leave this particular state or country and go and settle somewhere else. Somebody else from some other states or countries can also come in and settle in your place. So, immigration and emigration plays a very important role in controlling population growth. Now we'll come to the age and sex structures that also influence the population growth. Bodenheimer proposed three age groups in a population: pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive. Pre-reproductive ones are which one? They are young ones who has not yet reached reproductive maturity, and post reproductive ones are which one? The individuals which can reproduce, and post reproductive ones are old people, old individuals who are no longer being able to reproduce and produce offsprings. Infants and older people have higher mortality rate than individuals of other age. The population of reproductively active males and females in a population also increases or also influences the population growth. So, the proportion of reproductively active males and females is definitely going to influence population growth. If the proportion or if the number of reproductively active individuals are more, so the amount also or the rate of reproduction will also be more and population will grow faster. So, factors affecting population growth rates are: population growth rate depends on rates of birth, death, immigration, and emigration. So, birth rate and immigration add on to the population, and death rate and immigration rate, it will reduce the population. So, birth rate, so the sum of birth rate and immigration is going to add on, and the sum of death rate and emigration will reduce the population or will reduce the population growth rate. So, actual growth rate is what? The sum of birth rate and immigration rate minus the sum of death rate and emigration rate. Now we'll come to population pyramid or age pyramid. This is something very interesting. Age pyramids are pictorial representations that help us to estimate the future growth of a population. Say, for an example, a pyramid with a wider base depicts rapid growth of population, while that with a broader tip depicts longer life expectancy. So, we'll discuss these in details. Look at this picture. The first picture here shows a pyramid with a broad base and a pointed pointed apex. This side depicts male population, this female population. This side shows the male population. Now, the bottom part or these black dots, the black dots represent the pre-reproductive age group, while the red ones depict reproductive age group and the blue-green dots represent post-reproductive age group. So here you see, we'll first talk about a rapid expanding population. Here, the population is a rapidly growing population with greater proportion of young-aged individuals. The top part is narrow because of low life expectancy. It is found in poorer parts of the world. Algal population and yeast populations. So now let's come to the second. Let's come to slow expanding population. In this case, we see that this pyramid is a bit steeper. Steeper pyramid with comparatively greater life expectancy is seen over here. It is truly a pyramid shaped structure. The next, this structure gives us a stable population. A stable population means what? The number of individuals in pre-reproductive and post-reproductive age groups are more or less equal. It gives us a bell-shaped structure and it's found in developed countries. Due to proper education, due to proper family planning, this type of structure is seen in the population of developed countries. Next, finally, we come to diminishing population. In diminishing population, you see individuals belonging to the pre-reproductive age group is less. That means what? Their very good birth control measures are adopted by individuals. So, less number of people are born over here. And due to better education, hygiene, and medical facility, the post reproductive individuals or individuals belonging to the post reproductive phases are more. So, this is something very, very prominent in developed countries. In developed countries, you see urn shaped structure. The birth rate is low and the number of individuals in post reproductive band lives for longer period of time. This is extremely important characteristic feature of developed countries. Here the symbol has changed. This will be female and this will also be female. Now we'll come to survivorship curve. Survivorship curve is very important because this particular curve or these curves gives us an estimation of the number of individuals surviving with respect to time. It is a curve that plots the number of surviving individuals, and it shows the number of or proportion of individuals surviving at each age for a given group of individuals or a species. So first we'll come to convex curve. This blue one is curve number 1 or convex curve. Y-axis, in this y-axis we have the surviving individuals, and x-axis we have age or time. So let's see what is this convex curve telling us. The death rate is low at young age in comparison to that at old age. Higher rate of survivorship at younger age. So you can understand from the curve that the number of individuals survive at younger age, lower rate of survivorship at the older age. So as the individual is growing older, survivorship, the rate of survivorship or survival is decreasing. So this, when plotted, gives a structure like this. When this surviving individual is plotted against age or time, you get a convex structure or convex curve where death rate is low at young stage and more at older stages. Next we'll come to linear curve. Well, before we go to linear curve, let's think of some examples. Can you tell me what type of individuals have this type of curve? It is we who have this type of curve. Convex curve is seen in human beings. They breed several times. Okay. People, when young, they normally don't die. They, like old people, or old age is the time for death. So, this type of curve is seen in human beings. Next, we'll come to linear. The linear curves shows steady survivorship rate, moderate death rate at all phases of life. That is, individuals die at all ages. Fine. So, roughly constant mortality is observed over here. This type is seen in birds, in mice, rabbits, and in human beings with poor health and hygiene conditions, like people who live in slum areas and all. So, they don't have very good health and hygiene measured. So, death is very common at all ages. So, this type of linear curve is seen in these populations, population of birds, lizards, mice, rabbits, all these. Next will come to concave curve. This yellow one is concave curve. What is this? Here we see mortality of younger individual is considerably higher in comparison to that of older individuals. So this is just the opposite of convex one. In convex one, what did we study? The the mortality was higher at older age than younger age. But here the mortality in younger individuals is considerably higher than that of the older individuals. Okay, this is seen in a group of organisms like oysters, marine invertebrate, bamboo tree, black-tailed deer. In these populations, we see this type of a curve. So this is how we come to the end of our discussion. So for general knowledge purpose, let's see which is the most populated state in India. It is Uttar Pradesh. Thank you so much for joining me in this lecture. Hope you have enjoyed learning about population ecology. If you have any doubt or any confusion anywhere, please feel free to get back to me, and I'll try my level best to clear all your confusions. Thank you so much. Goodbye.